we've been wishing each other Happy New Year, but let's make it official. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome today. We are so happy to see you, each of you. Yes. Today we are very, very pleased to welcome somebody who is new to us, but is a part of our community, Dalila. Dalila presently lives in Pueblo West, and you might run into her wearing the hat of a real estate agent. Her real estate company is called Dvine Real Estate. Don't you love it? Dalila is an artist, clear to the core, as well as an angel, a spiritual woman. And she combines her love of art and spirituality in a variety of expressions. She has studied acting and so forth, has lived in Hollywood, has traveled to Italy and Mexico for some residency training programs. And so she comes to us with a wide variety of travel and experience. Today we're going to be using her skills. She's going to be using her skills to inspire us for the new year, to help us grow in all the variety of ways that she brings inspiration to us. And even after writing the description about who she is and what she does, I found Dalila still a mystery. And her work is compelling. She comes to us highly recommended. And so we are going to turn the program over to her, and hopefully she will tell us a little bit more about herself, as well as share with us today. So let's give Dalila a welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you so much. I appreciate the wonderful introduction. And of course, thank you for all that you are doing for the community. Sending you big love, and we appreciate you. And of course, thank everybody for being here, for being able to connect today. Before we get started with the material that we're going to be reviewing and sharing with you, I want to take you first into a special, very special place in your mind, if that's okay with you. You can comment yes on the chat, or you can give me a thumbs up in agreement. Great, awesome. The slides, please, Angelina. Remember when you were a child and things were very, very simple, and there we go. Things were very, very simple. Remember the things that made you happy. Those things is what we're going to focus on. I want to take you to that place. I would like you to picture the color red, and take that color and throw a bucket of it on the canvas that we have in front of you. Now picture the color yellow, a beautiful, beautiful, bright yellow. Take that color and smudge it on. Now picture the color blue. That blue, everybody has the color blue in their mind. Take that color and brush it on. Great. So what do we have now? All these colors mixed together create black. So let's take our eraser. We have an imaginary eraser. Go ahead and erase that over. And what do we have now? We have a blank canvas. So how does this relate to us at a spiritual level? This is very important, and we're going to dive deep into how it can apply and how this information all applies together. So opposite to the exercise that we just did in terms of spectrum of light, all of the basic colors create white. As this that we have here, blank canvas, and that's our starting point, a blank canvas. Okay, so Angelina, next slide, please. The universe is very basic, and the process of creation, its art form, it uses very, very simple principles. Color, color, and more color. Next slide, please. There's color in the food we eat. Color is associated with nutrients. So we consume colors, meaning we consume light through food. You see all the food, there's blues and reds and yellows and beautiful colors that we have in our food. Next slide. In nature, there is abundant color. In a rainbow, in flowers, in the sky, on the sunsets, sunrises. So in turn, what about in us? We are part of nature. And yes, the universe put color in us. So we're going to take a look at that. Next slide, please. So before we go into this, I'll share something with you before we break this down a bit. One very warm, sunny afternoon, I was sitting on the porch. The sun was radiating on me, and it felt really good for a while. But then I started to get a little bit too hot, and it was beaming on my face. So I rested my hand on my arm, and I slouched over the round table that I had there. There was so much light coming into my eyes that it made me squint a bit. And to my surprise, guess what I saw? I saw tiny little wheels of color on my arm, just like the one that you see here on the screen, with one color merging into the other, all in order, and perfectly round, working in harmonious beauty. It made me smile, and I really couldn't get enough of the view, so I spent so much time squinting my eyes that I forgot that the sun was there. And of course, I got a little tan in that experience, maybe a little bit of sunburn. So we're going to take a look at how that works. Next slide, please. Okay. Look at the wheel. One color converts into another. If we mix red with yellow, it creates orange. The red never left. Neither did the yellow. Even though we don't see it, we don't see them there, they are there. So just as matter cannot be destroyed, it converts, it transforms. Thus we go from color to color to color to, and we continue to transform with these colors. Even if we don't see it, it is there. So here we have a wheel of color. If we start with the red and mix it with purple, it creates pink. Purple with blue creates a violet color. Blue and green create an aqua tone. Green and yellow turn into a lime color. Red and yellow make orange, and so on. Next slide, please. So this is a look at our body. We have a 12 chakra system. They are very impressive, but they're very, very simple energy centers in our body, which are constantly in movement. Our first chakra, which is our root chakra, which is the color red. So notice how we started with red on the wheel. The second chakra that you have is the orange color. Third is your solar plexus chakra, which is yellow. The fourth is your heart chakra, which is green. The fifth is your throat chakra, which is the color blue. Sixth is the brow chakra, or what you call a third eye, is violet. Seventh is the color, or the crown chakra, which is your purple color. Then you have the auric chakra, the etheric chakra, real self chakra, and the soul star chakra, and divine gateway chakra. But for the purposes of today, just for the purposes of today, we want to keep it very simple. All the material that I'm sharing with you is simple. The first 7 chakras are plenty to focus on. So, you know, when I think of the universe is simple. So it guides us to keep things simple in the sense of what we are creating. So these energy centers, like we mentioned before, they're always in movement. They're vibrating. They are emanating. They are radiating. They are producing a level of frequency that correlates with that color. Each chakra is an experience. So what do I mean by that? The lower chakra, the more connected you are to the earth. The higher chakra, the more you are connected to the spirit realm, out of earth information, but they are all needed. They are all super, super important to our health because we are dealing with the physical health in the root chakra, the sexual health in the sacral chakra, empowerment in your solar chakra, emotional health in your heart chakra, communication in your throat chakra, mental health in your third eye chakra, and then you have your spiritual health in your crown chakra. We need all of them to have good health. What I mentioned is that we are so caught up living in the spiritual, sometimes, I'm guilty of it, that we forget to live on earth. We don't live in space, we live here on earth. And thus we're here to fulfill this life. Unless we want to keep, you know, coming back as a dense body with other experiences that we really don't want, we have a fulfillment that we have to complete here and now. So we must focus on that reason that we are here and complete it. And this includes living, experiencing, interacting with others. You know, there's so many pieces of that puzzle around us. So have you ever noticed a spiritual person that always focuses on the crown chakra or, you know, the upper chakras in general? and kind of neglects the existence of the lower chakras. So they end up encountering problems in their existence with what the lower chakras represent: lack, abusing of others sexually, anger, and just all types of abuse. Each chakra, it's spinning in its vortex. It is creating. So when you have all chakras spinning in a healthy rhythm, they are creating light. It's important to light up our whole body, not just our upper, not just our lower. And if one of the colors is not shining brightly, then what you want to do is you want to focus on it and then do the work that's related so that you can flow with more color. So remember what we talked about at the beginning: the more color, the more light you shine. We are a blank canvas experiencing this palette of colors. So don't be afraid to use them. It's creativity. Next slide, please, Angelina. All right, so now let's take a look at our electromagnetic field. So some like to call this our auric field, most commonly known as our aura. It's a continually emerging and fluctuating field of energy that is produced by the electrical currents in your body. Every cell in your body, it pulses with electricity. Every cell, every organ as well as your entire body, it generates energy fields. These electromagnetic fields are measured in frequency. They say, so math is the organization of frequency. Well, when you enter into frequency, math is no longer useful, right? So this is where your electromagnetic field, you're going to work to expand in all directions until you have a full spectrum of colors. And we go back to colors again, because that's where the universe is a simple key that it's showing us. This is a very simple key. And it starts with the energy centers we just covered, right? Which are referred, as the chakra center, energy centers. You need those working in a harmonious, healthy flow, because we are working from the inside out, okay? This year, next year, we're working from the inside out. All of the tools we need are already in you. They're in us. Next slide, please. So how does all this work together? Your center of your system is your heart, as we all know, which keeps you alive. But it also works as your energetic center when working with your colors. Notice again is red, the same color that we started with on the wheel, also on your chakra color. Simple. So if emotions are color, and color has frequency, then we are vibrating that color throughout sound, light, and electromagnetism. So here are some examples that you see on the screen that I'm going to show you some. So if I say, I love you, that's a sound coming out of my voice, right? Coming out of me. If I say, I hate you, that's a sound also coming out of me too. So with light, if your emotion of fear is strong, we are emanating that light from our root chakra. So for an example, animals are very, very in tune with that. If you run into a dog and they can smell your fear, they say, oh, he can tell I'm afraid. They will bite you, right? they get into this defensive mode because you don't have to say a word, but they can recognize what's emanating out of you. So, there's different type of animals that can pick up color. Like snakes, they can see infrared light. Remember, you are light. You're created by a mix of colors. So being mindful of what colors you are using in your experience, how we are vibrating, can really change the dynamic of our surroundings. So you all know this energy cannot be destroyed, it is only converted. So our goal this year and next year is to transform that energy into a healthy energy. Okay, next slide, please. All right. This is the meaty part. This is what I call our little body. But we're going to take a look at our bigger body, the earth, and how we can help connect and balance its colors so that we can collectively paint this beautiful painting of bright light. As we already reviewed in the information, pertaining to the color centers and energy centers of our human body, we will also take a look at Earth's structure and how simple is the connection between the two. The Earth has energy centers or chakras, just like our body. Human body and Earth both have color, electromagnetic field, sound vibration, and also energy centers. So, like I said before, listen, this is what 2020 and 2021 is all about. The realignment of the chakras of Earth and the energy centers in our bodies, okay, and of the Earth. Now that we're, in this subject, I remember sitting at one of the sustainability meetings for the county. I was part of a lot of sustainability committees, but in this particular one in January of 2020, we were organizing a Pueblo Climate Summit focusing on sustainability, efficiency, and, all the overall resource and natural resources that we have in our community. There was a little bit of frustration in the air about exerting so many years of effort, and really not getting the full effect of the positive impact that everybody wanted, when suddenly I received a direct download. This will be the year that all your efforts will not be in vain. And I felt it out of my heart. I channeled to the leaders as this newcomer to the committee. The only thing I said for the meeting, probably. Everybody stopped in silence, and the committee chair said, "Thank you, Dalila." And there was, sort of reinforced with assurance. And of course, like you all know, a couple months later, we had to cancel the summit, and the Earth took a breath, took a break, and started to breathe freely again. So if going back to our screen here, if our little body and our bigger body are connected, do you think that when the earth is changing, we are changing as well? Has 2020 changed the dynamic of both us and the earth? Well, let's take a look at some of the similarities. We're going to go into the next slide and look at a map here. Okay, so as you can see in the map, we're going to take a look at how the earth is very similar to us. The spine on the earth are the mountains. The joints are the lakes, mounts. The arms are the meridians, the parallels. The blood are the oceans. The rainforests are the breath of the earth. And that's primarily Amazon and Congo that generate that source of respiratory system. Greenland regulates the temperature. So if Greenland was to melt, the earth would freeze. The north and south poles are the neurological system. Antarctica is the brain. South America and South Africa are the ovaries and the testicles. Switzerland, Italy, and Ireland, Great Britain are the heart. North of Scotland, there's a tectonic plate under the earth that is the digestive system. All of the energy that comes from the North Pole of the universe is processed through China and Mongolia. So that's why when you really want to know about yourself, you go to the Eastern culture, at least I do. And we have India, Himalayas, they're the intestines. Sri Lanka is the anus. This is where you release and you can start again. The center of the South Pacific is the uterus. This is gestation. This is, there's a tectonic plate there that is called Scotia, that is exactly the shape of a penis. And this plate is constantly pushing towards the center of the Atlantic. Now, this is the most dangerous ocean that we have. This is where the planet has sex with itself. So we have all these functions too, right? It's nature. We're very, very similar. If you know just the way the planet is transforming, and at the time the earth activates a chakra, a location, it connects with your own chakra in your body. It's really simple. When we start to feel the earth, then the earth starts to feel us, and you can align with the earth by entering into its frequency. Now let's take a look at frequency. Frequency is also very simple. It can be activated through a word, sound. So let's do a quick exercise all together, and you can stay muted just in your own space. Let's think in terms of art and how simple sound is. Music is art, you know? You are the instrument, and we're going to play some tones, some notes, and make vowel sounds with your voice. So if you all can repeat with me, we'll start up here with the crown chakra, okay? Throat. Your heart. Your base. Your knees. Ooh. And take a big breath. And release. We can go even deeper than that. But this would take like a full day of that talk itself. Anyway, this is a quick, simple technique, and it's applicable. It's something that you can do as you're meditating and healing together with the earth to enter into Earth's frequency and do the work. You know, we're doing this work together, and it's beautiful that we're able to participate in that. While you are creating this sound, you can also picture, you know, that part of the earth and align that part with your body. So think of your chakra, think of the chakra of the earth, and have that alignment as you're creating that sound. And again, you know, all this information is something that we are familiar with. We'll have a different perspective. So as a globe, we are all standing in different parts of that sphere, of that connectivity. So we all have different perspectives and different information as well. So being able to share that information with each other is critical to be able to connect all of this healing that needs to be done. And I'm really, you know, not sharing anything new with you guys. As a painter, you know, we say the painter doesn't create the colors. It simply uses what is already there and tools, you know, to create. So it's that creation aspect that we're working on. Next slide, please. All right, so this is a piece, one of my oil paintings that had a vision about many, many years ago. It probably took around 7 years for this to even come onto the canvas. And once I started painting it, it was just this intense focus on getting it done and completed. And it carried a lot of emotion for me. A couple of, I would say, months later, in a ad or I believe it was a magazine, I ran into a written article, I would say a poem, a story from an unknown author. And this story put into words all of this emotion that I had put into my painting. And it was just amazing how that information, like I was saying, it just connects, you know. And this story told about a very young man, very youthful, handsome man. He came into the middle of this plaza where there was a lot of people, and he boasted about how his heart was so beautiful. I mean, this heart was perfect. This heart was shiny. It was bright red. It was so beautifully made that he wanted to show it to the world. And everybody was amazed at how beautiful his heart was. When there came an older gentleman walking into the circle, and he shared his heart with the circle, and he shared his heart with a young man, and his heart had rips in it. It had a big hole, had stitches, staples. It was pretty torn. And he told the gentleman, a young man, he said that my heart might not be like yours, but it is beautiful the way that it is. I have given love, and I have received love. In the areas where there is a hole and there's a piece missing out of it, I have given my love and have not received it back. In some of the jagged edges, in some of the jagged areas, I have given a piece of my love and my heart, and I've received a piece back. It might not be a perfect fit, but it is beautiful. And so that's the story of the beautiful heart and how we are able to share that love with others. You know, this painting has made some people cry. It has taught me lessons for sure. It has created definitely a lot of resonance in my life, and I hold on to it dearly and remind myself that that's what love is. Love is beautiful, and it's comprised of so many different actions and aspects of it. So, you know, from here, we want to go into maybe like a quick 5-minute breakout. Angelina is going to pair us up into rooms of 2. You're going to be paired up with another person, and in this breakout session, you know, we're going to be putting into practice, or, you know, initiating all of this information that we have in front of us. And so with your pair, you're going to be identifying an object, a simple object, anything that's in front of you or anything that's meaningful to you that you have around you. And you're going to take that object, you're going to look at the color, describe the color, think of the color. Now picture the color wheel. Is it a primary color, or is it a combination and a merge, you know, of other colors? And it's important to think also, when you're doing this analysis, important to think of your chakras in your body, and the earth chakras, and then how that correlates to that color and that part. And then identify, you know, because nothing is by accident. So that color might give you some information, some insight, something that you can use to start off your journey of color. So whenever we're ready, Angelina is gonna pair us up, and then Einar, if you can stop record on this breakout session, we'll just give her a moment to do that as well on the technical side if she's ready for us.
Okay.
All right, I think we have everybody back. Is that our number? I see everybody coming back with a smile. That's good. That's a good sign. I want to give Angelina and Einar a big round of applause for getting us into the breakout rooms. Technology, working with technology. Awesome. So we're all back, I believe. Anybody wants to share their experience with the color exercise, or you know, the more conscious that that we bring back to the simplicity of just colors, it really shows us all predominantly in our environment, right, what we have around us. It's showing us that the more we can really start to notice what type of healing that it's bringing, instead of, you know, fighting against all of our environment, right? It's like, what is it bringing? What is it bringing to us? And you know, it can help us transform and then unite the whole color wheel, right? A complete color wheel of light. And again, we're a blank canvas and we're radiating this white light. So with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to our wonderful and beautiful host, Ms. Marcia Beachy, for her to take us into either Q&A or experience sharing or close us out for the day.
Okay, well, thank you, Dalila. Thank you so much. That was lovely. I think what we'll do is we'll go into commentary and sharing, because this community loves to share, and that's always fun. And I was with Jeff. So Jeff and I were partners here for a few minutes. And we both picked objects that were blue, that had the blue spectrum in them. So we got to play with that and what that means. I mean, I'm used to looking at numbers. You know how numbers show up in our lives? The sacred numbers show up on the clock, and we're tuned into numbers, we're tuned into words. But to tune into color, I think that's just an upgrade I got from this. This year, I want to tune into color and how it shows up randomly in my life, and color being a message bringer, as well as letters and numbers and so forth. So we got to play with blue. There may be questions that you all have for Dalila, as well as some sharing from your togetherness. So let's just open it up for any commentary or questions or sharing. See what happens. Barbara?
I shared with Caroline, and oh my God, it's so awesome. I love color. And so I looked around the room. I had no preconceived anything. And it was interesting what my eyes landed on. And I have the picture. It's a Schuler painting. And it's a woman, and she's got this beautiful peach halo, and she's so pure and open about her body, and she's just flowing. But there's so much of the dark around her, the mystery and the shadow. And the chakra, interestingly, that I work a lot on with one of my guides, both lower chakras, the red and the orange, are areas that hold lots of memories, memories from past lives as well as this life. So it was interesting that I was attracted to that, and then to look at it through the color palette. I can see the blues are there, but they're all muted with shadow and black and shaded, and that beautiful peach halo on her. There's a purity to her, and yet there's also a streetness to her. She's of the street, you know, or of the earth. It's not all celestial and blues and pretty. And so it's kind of like symbolic of that earthiness that you said, coming into the physical, which I'm really working on. I've been really working with chakras. So bravo. And I've taken enough time, but thank you. It's awesome. It was very awakening for me. Thank you. And thank you, Carolyn. She's an amazing lady.
Anybody else?
Well, I had a question. When you talked about the chakras and this evolution that we're going through last year, this year, and maybe going forward, it's been really trendy to talk about becoming a light being. And as we are becoming a light being, it's also implied, based on what you were saying too, that the earth is becoming a light being on another level. And how as we do the work, our chakra work, awareness of these energy centers, how do you explain how that merge turns us into a light being? And yet still in physical form.
Still in physical form. So when we're entering into color, we're entering into that frequency. And as long as we're here on earth, we're in a physical body, okay? But we are composed of extraterrestrial elements. We're composed of star elements. We're composed of the universe. We're composed of out of earth ingredients, I would say. So it's really working with both. You don't want to be out of the body because we're in this body, right? You want to bring in that and then work with it in the body, okay? And I'm not sure if I connected to that second part of your question because I couldn't hear you very clearly. If you can repeat that other part of the question, I can expand on it.
Well, just the embodiment of the chakras all illuminating, assuming we've kind of brought that work to the next level of activating the light body within the body. Because some people have been talking about chakras are kind of like old paradigm, and we're evolving. As we are evolving into light beings, we work with that chakra work to turn into the next stage of our evolution. And so it's kind of just, I've always struggled with what that really means, but I felt like your explanations and your slides were really helping us to understand more of how to visualize that, but also just how when we do that work, how we are helping the earth. What are almost like how are we helping the earth become a light being as well? And ultimately it feels like it's based on frequency, but
Right.
I'm still struggling with how do I explain that to a 4-year-old? Because
So let's bring it down and bring it very simple, right? When you stretch and you hear your bones crack, right? You hear your body. For me, I stretch my knees and I hear them crack, right? The earth does the same. When we feel those earthquakes, it's just the earth moving, it's stretching, there's movement. So there's a great connection there with the earth as far as how we're both made. As far as going into, or the reason that 2020 2021 is this work of entering and kind of detaching. I know we're going into technology, but in a way we are, and Marcia mentioned the numbers, right? Numbers is an organization, is how you organize frequency, right? So it's detaching from that and just working with frequency. You're going into a different level of just entering into the feeling and feeling the earth. Not so much thinking, because we're very mental. I'm an analyzer. I'm an introverted personality, very analytical when I'm at work. And so, especially for us, right, it's really a work of not using the mind and using the heart. You're going to be using the heart primarily, not the mind. The mind has a mind of its own. It reasons, it wants to figure things out, it wants to make sense and make logic out of things. And so what we're doing, we were in this information. And the way that we are going to do this work, and we're going to connect at a much deeper level with the earth than what we already are at, is bringing it down and just feeling. How does it feel? How does it feel? So if you are doing your work and you're working again with colors and you're working with your chakras, it's nothing new. It's a simple work with your chakras, which you already been doing. Now you're gonna ask, how does that feel? what part of the earth do I feel? Okay. What do I feel like moving? Oh, I feel like stretching my arm. What do I feel like expressing? Maybe I want to really feel like just working on here and just the sound of feels good to me right now. And in that sense, you're trusting your feeling and not just depending on your mind, because we're very dependent on the mind. And we're shedding that. We're moving away from the mind and then just coming into the heart. And that's as simple as I can bring it down, because it's simple. You know, it's very, very simple.
Thank you.
Hopefully I answered your question. Your questions, actually.
Hello,
Hello.
my
Jen-
name is Ginny. It's not Dog Henry. Sorry, that's my screen name because my dog's name was Henry. I wanted to tell Angeluna some information, but maybe everybody remembers in 2012, when people thought, or some people thought, oh, the Earth's ending because the Mayan calendar was ending. I had a couple teachers, and one was a Mayan elder, and he said that is what the Earth is moving into, and all of creation. It's moving into the heart, from the mind to the heart. We've been living so much with data, machines, information, head thinking. And now we need to, for our own healing, I believe, go into the heart. And how do we feel about this? And I think you can tell children that. I think they understand their feelings. And if they choose to, if they feel really good about something, they may want to share that feeling. Send it out. Just, you know, the intention of sending it out to others around them and the earth. Say, this feels good, something I want to share. And if they feel sad, they might say, yes, I know the earth feels sad sometimes too. And so I will love the earth and help take care of her. Okay.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you, Jenny. I like that. Mhm. Mm. Jeff, were you going to share?
Yeah, I can share my unicorn. See this rock? It looks like a horse, but it is a unicorn. Can you see the head? So this makes for a color of blue, and Marcia, my partner in the same room, had a lot of blue to show me. I'm wondering, is that did I remember that correctly? That's the throat chakra color? And how does that translate into a role like advising people who are going through a crisis in their lives? Does that mean that a lot of talk is required, or does that mean a lot of listening is required? I'm just trying to connect with the color blue that we both seem to share, and I would invite any comments on that.
We'll open that up for comment. For me, the throat chakra is a sky blue, and the third eye is more of an indigo blue, a deeper blue. So I felt Jeff had both. Rock, but our throat chakra is not only expressing outward, it's connected to the ears as well. So we're listening, Jeff. So it's both giving out expression and listening to others' expression, giving and receiving that.
And that's interesting you say that, because I just started a volunteer apprenticeship with hospice. And it's one thing is interesting about that in Salida, there's 9 volunteers there. They're all women except for me, so I'm a little uncomfortable about that. but I'm excited at the same time, and I'm wondering how I should balance the use of my voice with just listening to the individual who is passing on to a next phase in their existence. And so maybe what you're suggesting there, listening, is very important. So I'll try to do that.
Jeff, I'll add to bring it together. What Marcia is a perfect ingredient to bring together what I'll share with you. The blue color also reminds me of water and how that connects to emotions. So your voice is that expression of that emotion, is that release. As Marcia shared with you guys, I studied acting. So the particular modality was method acting, and we used to voice to get into emotion, to get into character. So our exercise was finding that emotion in our body and pulling it out at our will. And our exercise was sitting and just making sound. It had no words. It was just sound. And that sound will just walk that emotion up wherever we would feel it. We would feel discomfort at our foot. We would pull it up, and voice it out. And so that exercise was very basic, but it allowed for the pulling out of emotions. In particular, the area that you're working in, I think this might relate to our teacher, one of my teachers, because I had several. This teacher was very good, but very grumpy. He was very effective. He was Al Pacino and Angelina's teacher. And everybody talked so greatly about him. I was like super excited to be right in front of him, but he was a very grumpy guy. He did not have a conversation. One time I hurried up and walked behind him just to have a conversation with him, and he not said a word. He ignored me the whole time. But this was key for what he taught. When I did sit in front of him and we were doing the exercises, if I asked him a question about how to pull out that character and that emotion, he answered with a question. And it bugged me because I wanted him to give me the answer. So what he was doing was allowing me to pull it out of myself. Okay. So we go back to the blue, and you are the mediator. You are that teacher, that conductor. You are that guide. You are only guiding people to pull that out of themselves, to pull those answers out of. So you're connecting with the heart, and you're connecting with the ears, like Marcia was saying, and then it's coming through a question.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, listen with your heart, Jeff, and you'll know when you'll need to speak.
Thank you, Einar. That makes sense too.
How's everybody else? Do you have something you want to add, or just say Happy New Year? We want to make sure we hear from all of you if you like.
Marcia, I want to say hello.
Hi,
Happy New
Priscilla.
Year. Hi. And I was honored to be with Tammy and Daniel in the room. And we weren't quite sure what the activity was supposed to be. So instead, I introduced myself and we talked a little bit about who we were. But just to share with everyone, I've known Marcia for about 6 years now, when I think about it. And I lived in Pueblo for a short period of time, twice. And I've been invited to come And I want to apologize for coming in late because I forgot. But I want to say I'm grateful because you've allowed me to be here. And so I want to say thank you and Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you. We hope you join us again.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so does everyone feel that you've shared whatever you wanted to share? You've gotten something today. Some of your slides were really amazing, Dalila. I don't know if you all would like to have access to those slides again. Is that something that you share or do you not feel comfortable?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Whoever wants, Angelina has the slides as well as Einer. They can share them if they like.
What we have done before with some of our speakers is to put the slides available on the website on the Conscious Community page with your photo and the information. Is that something that would work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I
You-
have
Oh,
I have
go
a
ahead.
question about that. I did take some pictures with my phone, but do you have something clearer about the chakras of the earth?
Yes.
Because you have the matching the sound vibration of different countries. But I would love where you're saying, I love what you're saying, to expand our meditative energy and vibration to include, like you said, if we're feeling something in the heart, to think of that part on the earth, to think of that country in the earth. Do you have something like that that we could have access to, where we then would know what country to think of? Because I've already forgotten who's the heart.
Yes. I mean, we can get very detailed into it. I have in my other notebook, I have more specifically, very specific areas. And I try to simplify it for you guys and just generalize it. In that main area, I can go through the list right now, jot it down, or I can give the list to Marcia to share with a group, whatever would work best, Marcia, that you advise.
All right. So if it could be a Word doc or something that we could put on the website, I think that would be simple. Then everybody would have a document. That'd be lovely. Thank you for being so generous.
Yeah.
So yes, yes. So I just want to say thank you. It was wonderful to meet you on screen. I hope we get to meet in person, Dalila. And thank you for your work. You made reference to some of the things you're doing locally, and that's wonderful. So let's give Dalila just a thank you. Thank you so much for being with us, for sharing your talents and your understandings with us. And we're going to be, this year, we're going to be more aware than ever of color and how we are painting with color, how we are vibrating to color, how we are vibrating color out, that we are the painting and the universe is painting through us. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, everybody. You know, we're all, like I said, in that big connection and grid. So I appreciate all of you connecting and just the ability to share this information with you. And thanks to Marcia.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you for coming. I just want to say real quickly, next month in February, we do have our speakers set up. It'll be a topic on local gardening, farming, seeds, self-sufficiency kind of things. Even though some of you are not local, it will still be information that we'd welcome you to join us on and gain from, because we know as things become more full into the shift that we're in the middle of, it's best if we have local connections, local supplies, and that we're all as food wise as possible, food and earth wise as possible. So it will be Frank Cordova and Angelina. Can you give the name of the woman who will be joining him?
Yes, the director of the Pueblo Food Project, Monique Mares, and they'll be talking more just about the general movement that's taking place here in Pueblo, Colorado, and how that movement can expand to your areas as well by formulating partnerships and sharing ideas. They are planning some visioning activities to kind of get into how, as we get into the vision and the awareness of what we can create together, we put more energy into that. And they're going to be working from a book called The Food Activist Handbook with some fun activities and breakout sessions so that there can be a little bit more intimate action in the content of that. So it'll be a lot packed in, but just overviewing the Pueblo Food Project, the opportunities for so many ways to get involved, whether in Pueblo or wherever you are at, to just, as we were learning today, working with ourselves, working with the earth is integrative and part of the evolution right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Angelina. Angelina and Frank have been just a wonderful resource to us in planning. We're so appreciative of them.
Thank you.
Layla, you had mentioned a group. I don't want to delay people too much, but we have a few more minutes. You had mentioned a group that you were a part of that was strategizing on, what was it, sustainability or what? And there was a conference you were planning that had to be canceled. I was hoping to go to that. Yeah, so could you tell us a little bit more about that group?
That group is together with the Sierra Club.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Sangre de Cristo Sierra Club. There's also members there from our other meetings, which is efficiency, energy and efficiency. That's a monthly, it's also open to the public. And there are members there from CORE, which is run by the county. I used to work for the county, so there's some people there from that. But this one for the Sierra Club, I believe you can volunteer, participate through the Sierra Club. I'm not sure necessarily that it's open to the public, but energy and efficiency group, it's ran by Laura Getz. She was the coordinator for Pueblo County, and she runs this monthly meeting. It's regarding energy and efficiency and, you know, submitting grants for different energy upgrades in our county and different things, but that one's open to the public.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Plug into, and it's, you know, the more the merrier, the more ideas, the more collective work that we can do to bring in more green energy and, you know, bring in better options than what we're doing right now.
To take good care of our planet. So without further ado, we want to say thank you again to everyone who's come. We love you all. Have a wonderful rest of the month. And I think we don't have any more announcements. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Blessings. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Layla. Wonderful time.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you, Dalila. This was a great way to start the year.
Awesome. Very nice meeting everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.